feel a song that's never been heard. Feel. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball. 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 It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging day? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea.
Season 14, round 5, here at Catalonia in Spain. My name is King-Kodiak, and I'm reading one of your commentators throughout this evening finish. Joining me on the commentary once again is my faithful sidekick, the one and only Mr. Hamish.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Like you say, round 5, as everyone started leaving the session because non-runner's connection was like, no. As always, me and King-Kodiak were slick. We were wonderful. The progression from the intro to the race was fantastic, but clearly not on this occasion. The connection has affected the drivers once more. Never mind, we will have to jump into a new session, and after last week's Russian Grand Prix, oh my lord, how are you feeling?
That is going to say Sam Beaton. Let's be quite frank, that race last week was fabulous.
Yeah, it was one of the best races that I've ever been a part of. In fact, one of the best races in AOR history. The amount of media coverage it got in terms of what the drivers were saying, what we were saying, the promotion it got from AOR was just fantastic. I'm sure King-Kodiak and I, we're both very thankful for all the really kind comments we heard in that race weekend. But it's another day for the drivers. So it should take them a 1 minute and 17 seconds, 0.8 to get around this 4.7 kilometre, 2.9 mile circuit. I'm really looking forward to this race after last week, and hopefully it can live up to expectations.
Well, the expectation was put through the roof, courtesy of last week. That's going to be a little bit difficult to replicate. Let's not mince words here. That's going to be a very difficult race to repeat. But we have got it's still the top tier. It's still the best of PC splits here for F1 2017 here in Apex Online Racing. We have got 2 new names to discuss, however. The eagle-eye amongst you would have not only noticed that the first intro was completely mute because Muppet here, namely me, forgot to unmute the damn thing before I started the stream off. And 2, I also had the wrong microphone selected, so you couldn't hear me when I was talking. Hamish could, but the stream couldn't, because Discord was correct, but my OBS was not. But 2 names were new to the lineup, and therefore didn't have any results under their name in the introduction. That is Segro, I think his name is, and Nobody, which is going to cause a few interesting sentences. They have replaced Michael X99, who has had to leave the league for personal reasons, and Demon, who has decided to slip down to F2 for the remainder of this season. And Segro and Nobody have been promoted up into their respective slots, so you can hear me sliding around the menus in the background, but rather than you staring at a custom lobby, you can stare at our lovely introduction screen there. So Segro takes Demon's spot in the McLaren, and Nobody replaces Michael X99 in the Red Bull.
Yeah, we got 19 drivers today.
We have.
In fact, might be a record. I'm not sure if we had... found it. Okay. I'm not sure if I just got a weird message on my screen.
Oh, did you?
I'm not sure if that's more than we had in the first round. But yeah, we're very looking forward to this one. Obviously, last race was the first time we got a really good chance to test out all the new broadcasting features, which is why the graphics are so slick now. That's in-game on screen. So let's see what these drivers can do. I wonder if the restart has unsettled some of the drivers, although it did happen earlier than it did last time out in Russia. If you remember, people are already sort of halfway round a lap.
That's right, yeah. But we'd had some people that had left the garage and were well and truly on a lap. And you do kind of prepare yourself, and you'll understand this as a driver from an F1's perspective as well. But it doesn't really matter which racing series you're in. You start to kind of think about the lap you're on, the progression you're making, and then that flow is all of a sudden disrupted through no fault of your own. We don't see anybody disconnecting, but disconcertingly we don't see anybody leaving the pits either. So we will see how that comes about. You can hear some engines.
Yes. They've started up the engines, all 20, all 19 even, of the drivers. And it'll be interesting to see who comes out first. And it's a Toro Rosso. Oh, I thought it was a Toro Rosso
it's
again.
Adox.
Now...
Oh, Topar has retired. Ah, yes. Now, there is a reason why Topar has retired. It is because he received a post-race penalty, I believe, last time, and may have to sit this qualifying out. Now, Topar did receive... he's retyped his name for some reason. He did receive a post-race penalty from last week, and did actually drop from 7th to 9th. And hopefully, if I can get my keys right, there's the Drivers' Championship. Now, of course, it doesn't include our 2 new names because they haven't scored any points, they haven't taken their part in any races. This is their first race. The camera is actually looking at one of them, Segro. There we go. No, not that one. So that is how the Drivers' Championship currently stands, and that is how it affects the Constructors' Championship. Now, of course, I thought I'd be clever and put the names of the drivers next to their component teams, and of course 2 of them are now incorrect, and I didn't spot the driver change in time to make a alteration to the team graphic. Never mind, it will be correct for next time around. We have a lot of drivers, we have a hell of a lot of drivers that have come out. Topar, as we know, has dropped out the session, as previously mentioned. We only have 2 drivers now still in the pits. That's Raven and RBK. A lot of people getting out there very, very early. What sort of strategies are you thinking of? I've spoken to a couple of drivers. I'm curious to know what you have for this one, Hamish.
Oh, well, I've got to say, I've been pretty pants on my strategy this weekend. I normally have all the facts and figures. I really don't. I haven't spoken to any of the other drivers, simply because of time. I would imagine
real life does get in the way. Now, funny you say that. Not everybody apparently can make the one-stop work.
Interesting. That will be good for us because it's been a bit. It hasn't been boring because last race was clearly not. But it's been a bit sour on race strategy. The drivers seem to have. They have to come into a pits one time and that's it. I mean, in Russia, a set of tyres would last the whole race. So it'll be interesting to see what you have to say about strategy.
What I've been told by, and this is a couple of the drivers, I won't give away who. I nearly said I won't give away what they said. That would make this segment rather pointless. But what has been said is that one stop is the better way to do it if you can make your tyres work. And it's typically going to be soft, as everybody has come out with, onto the hards. Now, the hard and the medium tyres are the mandatory ones, so they have to run one or the other. And so what people are saying is soft to hard is the way to do it if you can make the soft tyres last long enough. Now, this is where there seems to be a bit of a... In that element, people are generally in agreement. However, most people are saying that they can make that strategy work. Not everybody seems to be in that way of same mindset. Some people are saying that you have to do, or they have to do two-stop. Like I say, I won't say who has said they're going to be on a two-stop strategy or think they will have to be on a two-stop strategy, but that means that they are going to have to leg it if they get into the lead. Of course, they may not ever get anywhere near the front. Also, what seems to be a bit of a split opinion is wing levels. There seems to be a yellow flag out in Sector 2, we don't know why. Now, what would you normally run here, Mr. Hamish?
Well, for me, I would be running a slightly lower downforce. The reason being is those straights are massively advantageous, and it's very difficult to overtake under corners around this track. The last sector's not very high speed, so you don't particularly need the ultimate downforce level. There's a few high speed corners in the first sector, and it sort of slows down really in the middle sector. But I would be tempted to row lower wings, and that would really help you along the straights, and it's really good for overtaking. But I'm sure some drivers will be running very high downforce and simply going for qualifying lap times, basically.
So what actual wings would you run?
I would be tempted to run something like 4-5, 5-5, something like that.
Now, to be fair, I've only spoken to two drivers. They just happen to be towards the top end, towards the sharp end of the championship at the moment. Again, I'm not giving away who. For anyone who thinks it isn't just the top two. They both are running 8 on the rear, but one said 4 on the front, and the other said 8 on the front. I mean, that is a colossal difference.
That is pretty huge, yeah. It's very much to do with driving style. Catalonia's very well known for its understeer. So if you can cope with the understeer, you're going to be running lower wings. If you can't, then you have to run the high wings. Otherwise, it will kill the front tyres. I'm not surprised you said that people you've been talking to. Obviously, I could hazard a guess who it is, but I'm not going to say.
I wouldn't tell you if you did.
But obviously. The guys at the top, the reason there's varying in strategies and they might not be able to get their strategy to work is because they're going a few tenths a lap faster than everyone else. In theory, they're going to be using more tyre, they're going to have more heat in the tyre, there's going to be more graining, they're going to be getting a bit more oversteer and understeer, and it is going to affect. Which is why I'm not surprised you say at the top. If they were to slow down by a couple of attempts, I'm sure the story would be very different.
Well, very true, very true. We've had a few changes of pole whilst we've been talking about this. Raven in the Williams currently occupies that top spot. He started from pole, I think Raven started from pole last week. And either way, he got pole at some stage. But he currently sits at the top spot. Marek, we haven't seen Marek at the sharp end for a while, actually. He currently sits in second. So 118.125 by Raven, 183.03 by Marek, 183.43, just 400ths of a second separating second and third. And then Danny, who we are looking at the moment, who has just been demoted from the top spot by Tim last race. So it's 118.410. Look how close actually they are. Looking at each. Raven's time is stunning actually. 1 1/4 tenth near enough. 1 3/4 tenths between Raven and Marek. Maths failing me there. And then look, there's 4 hundredths between Marek and Tim. 6 or so tenths, 5 or 6 hundredths rather between him and Danny, who's just crossed the line and don't think he improved. And then it's just 18 thousandths of a second between Danny and Kez. Just over a
It
tenth
is.
between him and Slick. Oh, that's a point. Slick. We haven't seen Slick in a great deal either, and he's actually in 6th at the moment. So this track's clearly suiting some drivers better than others.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Kez. He often isn't at the sharp end, so it is really cool to see him doing well. Although he did get a fantastic 5th place last time with penalty.
He did. Well, to be fair, everybody got penalties.
Kez did get penalty. He was promoted because of penalties. That's
Oh,
what
I beg your pardon. I think Kez got the fewest amount. I think Kez did get something right at the very end.
Might have got 1, yeah.
Yeah, but everyone else was like on 2 or 3.
Yeah, for the reason we haven't seen Merrick at the sharp end, without trying to make you sound a bit like a
Oh, he hasn't been
dum-dum,
around, has he?
He didn't start the last race, which is why we haven't seen him at the sharp end.
That would explain it.
But he has got some solid points. He got an 8th and a 6th in round 2 and 3. That's obviously China and Bahrain. I imagine Raven's time's going to get beaten. However, our predictions, or my predictions of quali times, haven't often been... Sometimes they've been right and sometimes they've been wrong. It's very 50-50. The pressure of...
Oh! McLaren has just taken the pole.
Good effort. By
Very
it's
nice.
0.04 of a second above Raven. That's the amount of time Raven is going to be confident he can make up. You would have thought. Raven's still in the pits. He's going to be coming out very last minute. Obviously, it's not a very long lap. It's about 1 minute and 18. Whereas opposed to Russia, which was what were we getting? About a 1 minute 32, I think, 1:33. So it's quite a bit shorter than Russia, which obviously does help.
Both McLarens at the top. 2 thousandths of a second between the McLarens.
Good job by Sergo. I mean, wow. He's obviously been promoted from F2. What a lap time!
What a way to stamp your authority on your new, on your new promotion to the top tier and sticking it on pole in the first race. Nice.
Absolutely. Let's see if nobody can have the same response in for Red Bull. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1 and 2, which has not disappeared, which I thought it had done.
There's nobody at the moment. That's such a strange sentence. He's actually out. There he is. Where is he?
Just came out. Pits.
Just a quick window shuffle here, which causes that. So yes, apologies. Oops. Whether he was trying to give himself a bit more space and just got a little bit sideways coming into turn 5, I'm not 100% sure. But he is out there. He should get that lap done. We have 1 minute 40 remaining for anybody to start their lap. And Segro, I think it's Segro, is how it's pronounced. As I only found out the driver changed an hour ago, and I haven't had a chance to speak to this particular individual. I'm not 100% sure how he pronounces it. I'm going to go with Segro, mainly because he's British, so that's how I would say it in English. Now, Failer hasn't set a time. Neither has Wycombs. Wycombs had a horrific run of luck last weekend.
He's on the lap now. Is Wycombs coming over to the last corner? He's taking it flat, and his lap time's looking okay. It's an 18.4. That puts him P9. Nice. So good enough job from him. But who was it? Failer? Yeah, Failer's under a lot of pressure. He's just let Tim pass. But Failer's now under a lot of pressure to set a lap time. So it's Vizzy. He's not going to be happy with 17th and almost effectively last on the grid.
Is Failer going to have enough time to get around? Because he's only got 40 seconds to get from where he is to the line. 1.5 seconds, top to bottom. Actually, Vizzy is half a second off of Kalon. So it's only realistically 1 second for the entire field. And Slick has retired from second position. Fair play to you. So the two McLarens have called it a day. So where is Raven? Let's find where our third place man is. There he is. He's just coming around turn 3. So he's near the beginning of the lap. Max is near the beginning. Sorry. He's just come through 1 and 2. Sorry, Hamish, what did you say?
No, carry on.
Marek is turn 6 and 7 and 8. He is coming to. Afro is in the pits. His day is done. Yeah, and Afro just actually crossed the he was actually on his way out at the point the checkered flag came out, so his day is done. Timp has Tim's retired. There's who else can we find? Danny's down in 8th. He's not going to be pleased with that at all. Wycombs has broken 118, 117, 788 for the Pink Panther, sticks him on pole. Very
interesting. Raven's going ultra fast. He's already 2 temps up on his lap time. That's an 18.1. He's just got the last sector to negotiate. and he's looking fast. He's breaking into the chicane now. He's going to be flat on the floor, a little bit of oversteer. It's going to cost him about half a tenth. Coming across the line, I think he's going to get P3 or 4, and he's up into P4. Wow, that is close.
It is all happening. Marek, P2 with 117.892. For Danny, 117.898. 6 thousandths of a second between the two. Raven standing in behind them, just a couple of hundredths off. Goodness me, who else is actually still on that? Max is still going.
Max has crossed the line. He's P14. Hasn't improved.
Max does not improve. Failer jumps up to 9th, so he does actually set a time. Fizzy, somewhere, I just noticed he wasn't on the bottom of the table, so he did set a time, but didn't have a chance to see where it was. Everyone is within about 1.2 seconds top to bottom. Damn, that is close. So, take it away, Mr. Hamish.
That's incredibly close. So we got 20 seconds to run down. Wycom's Marek, Formula Danny, ACR Raven, I'm going to call him Sergo, Segro, Slick, Non-Runner, Mac, Failer, and Afro. That is your top 10 covered by half.
Tim down in 11th. Goodness me, he's going to be furious at that. I wonder if that's going to force him into an alternate strategy.
Possibly.
Wow.
I mean, he gets a free choice of tyres. That's a plus point. P11 isn't such a bad place to be, only because you get that free choice of tyres. The top 10 are obviously starting on the soft compound tyres. But our championship leader is under pretty serious threat now by Danny. He's only 5 points behind in the championship.
But it depends. I mean, it really depends on how well people can manage their tyres at the front. Bearing in mind that they've all set their laps on these tyres, and Catalonia's a bit of a soft tyre chewer, although I'm told the hard tyre is an absolute belter in the closing stages of the race. So people are going to want to stretch that soft stint out and then get onto the hards to close this race off. But goodness me, that's that was a surprise to see Tim right down there. I'm hearing reports that there's been a block as far as, when Tim came out to do his last lap, he was blocked. So, well, we will see what the stewards have to say about that one.
Yeah, I did witness a block. Who's driving the Sauber? No, that's.
I should have that. I should really have that information to hand. I wholeheartedly apologise.
Sauber, Failer or Max may have blocked Timp in the closing stages. Take it away, King-Kodiak.
Wind them up and let them go. Can the Force India fend off the Haas? Oh my god, look at the second Haas though that's coming in there. That's Formula Danny that's going to try and mix up the party. McLaren and Williams in there. Segro is fighting Raven for that fourth position. He's got his own teammate in there trying to mix up the party as well. Marek hanging on to that second position as they come through too. Wycombs is looking to extend that lead to try and get away from the Haas. Look at Formula Danny. He's right side by side with Raven coming down into turn 4. And just about manages to hold on to that position. He's still a little bit wide. There's still an opportunity for Raven to do something about it. Side by side as they come up to 5. Can Raven do anything about it? He's gone too deep. He's now going to have Segro that's going to do something about it. We have a yellow flag in sector 2. Not entirely certain for why. Kalon is coming up as fallen position. I'm not entirely sure if that's what's caused the yellow flag. We'll catch up with that in a bit. Oh no, that would be exactly what it was. I think Kalon and Fizzy have had an argument with one another. We've lost a driver already. Look at this. You can see Wycombs is already forming a gap for himself. Goodness me, this field is compact.
Absolutely. Tim got a fantastic start. He's up into P7. Max, he got onto the gravel at the edge of turn 1, so his car just bogged down and he went straight to the back. Fizzy may or may not have some damage. His car isn't looking particularly good around high-speed corners. However, he is staying with the back of the field. Quite a lot of action. We've obviously got fast lap by Wycombs. That's not a surprise. Wycombs is already almost a second ahead of Marek, so that's very good news for him. He's going to be wanting to get out of that DRS range. Wycombs, well, I mean, Force India have the most significant positions, first and last. But
yes, it
is. 8 seconds between them, so it's not a very big gap at the moment, but I'm sure the gap will widen as we continue on into this.
Tim then, our championship leader, currently in 7th, got both McLarens ahead of him. He's having a dive bomb into 5. Whoa, my goodness me, that was out of nowhere. Caught Slick completely napping. What a brilliant move. The 2 Renaults, Afro and Non-Runner directly behind. Non-Runner nobody. How many times am I going to get those 2 names the wrong way round? What a start! Fizzy does look like he's falling off the back of the field looking at the timing splits. So I would suggest that the second Pink Panther has got damage there. But we'll see if he is able to get that fixed and get back into this race. And we've started to see, it's actually the front of the field beginning to fall apart then. Start to break apart as far as times are concerned. Wycombs is away. Look at that. Over a second now separates him and Marek. But when DRS then kicks in, it's not going to do Marek any good. Wycombs with the fastest lap once again. And it doesn't look like anybody else has a second gap. But goodness me, Wycombs is a man possessed today.
Yeah, he's obviously running in rich, as a lot of these drivers will be on the opening lap, and he's just going to be trying to get the gap and get Marek out of his DRS. That's really important. Great to see Marek up there. It's also good to see Formula Danny. Nobody's had a bit of an issue, and Failer has taken P10.
Oh, what's happened to nobody? Oh, sorry. Yeah,
he went a bit wide on turn 4.
Oh,
turn 3, sorry.
I was just trying to catch up with position changes. I suddenly saw nobody lose a couple of positions. What I was also looking at was Arox, that I think had lost a couple of positions. He'd gone wide at turn 3, I think. He's actually on the hard tyre as well. What's Fizzy chosen to run? He's on the hards as well, so he's obviously gone for the alternate strategy. Again, not entirely surprising looking at obviously his starting position and where he has now ended up. He's looking to try and stretch that out as long as possible. Yeah, I'm actually surprised at, despite the fact that obviously Wycombs is running away and built up over a second gap already, we're starting to see the field spread out much quicker than we saw in Sochi.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shorter lap, so in theory that shouldn't happen. Obviously this is, I mean, however, saying that the top 16 are still within 10 seconds, but you're right, we are seeing the field open up, and we're seeing
the Hasses
battles.
Whoa, that's close. Sorry, Hamish. I never mean to cut you off. I feel horrible when I do it, but you know what this is like. It's just suddenly something happens. The two Hasses are getting very, very close together. Marek just managing to fend off Danny at the moment. Ooh, one of the McLarens, Sigro, getting a little bit wide on the exit of 3. But yeah, it is all happening. Second down to Timp, actually. So second to 6th. In very, very tough succession. That's nobody losing another position we see on the overlay there. There he is. I think he was actually having trying to make an overtake on RBK. So I think he gained and lost that same position in the same breath. We see a great battle here. This is Topar. So he's right down in 14th. But he's also on the hard tyre. Actually, we've got Raiko on the medium tyre. That's an interesting choice. I heard that the mediums is a risky one, as it doesn't give you a great deal of longevity over the hards, and it's got nowhere near the grip of the softs, as you would expect, and that is Max and Riker Gordon. You can see. I think he might be the only runner on the mediums. I might have to double check on that.
RBK as well. So Riker Gordon, RBK, and Kalon when he was in the race, and Kez has just got catastrophically wide. There's been contact between Kez and RBK, and I don't know what's happened to Kez. His front wing is not going to be in good position. No, it isn't. You can already see the front wing damage. Nobody's overtaken RBK in the sister Red Bull, and that is moved on for P11, but Kerry got some awful oversteer. Meanwhile, Afro has just span it on turn 1. He's been moved down to last place. So that's really bad news for him. That promotes nobody in his debut race into a points-paying position. Yes, we have seen quite a lot of task strategies and differences, especially after you get past the top 11. You've got RBK and Riker Gordon on the mediums. You've got Topar, Arox, and Fizzy on the hard compound tyres. And that surprised me. I didn't think anyone would start on the hard compound tyres, purely as it's about 1.5 seconds slower than the soft compound tyres, which is why we're seeing the field spread out. If you remember in Russia, the tyre strategy was a lot less varied.
That is very, very true. And Topar is actually the lead runner on those hard tyres. My God, has he got a hell of a train behind him. A lot of jostling going on. Kez, Riker Gordon, Max, Arox, Fizzy, and Afro all right in there. As I think it was Max has just taken a position. He did indeed. So that's the Sauber getting past. Oh, he's actually having a battle with Arox. Goodness me, they're getting interested in one another. So our front runners have actually settled down, which gives us an opportunity to look further down the field. Hence this battle at the back here. We have a pitter already. It's RBK.
Yeah, he's into pits. That's I can only assume it's for damage. We're going to keep an eye and see how long this pit stop takes him, and see if it is just a damage. It is damage to his front wing. He's going to be very frustrated by that.
Hard tyres
There's a
on
lot
him.
of good battling, though, at the back of the field, especially between the Merc and the Williams of Kez and Topar. Topar's obviously going for very much a recovery drive if he wants to keep his lead in the championship.
Absolutely. Oops, as we just see Riker Gordon go a little bit wide in the exit of 4. And we've got Mordia. Oh, Marek's in trouble! Marek's falling through the field. What's happened to him? There he is, the Haas, one of the front-running Hasses. Well, they're both at the front. That's a bit of a daft statement. He has fallen by the wayside. He's down in 9th now. What on earth happened? That's between turns 8 and 9. Now heading to 10. What a disaster for Marek. He's just lost another position to the Red Bull of nobody. Oh, no.
Oh dear. That's very frustrating for Marek, especially as Haas are major contenders in the Constructors' Championship. They're 28 points behind Toro Rosso. Well, bearing in mind, Kalon's already out. And Topar really isn't... It's not his race at the moment because of last week's penalties and qualifying suspension. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be frustrating. I would imagine that Danny's going to be not best pleased with Marek's mistake in terms of their Constructors' Championship. They're looking so strong for Haas. And Force India are doing really well as well. Currently they're 6th in the Constructors' Championship, a whopping 77 points.
Indeed, but look at this. We have got a Formula Danny train. I can't think of a alliteration there that works properly. We have got Danny, we have got Raven, we've got Tim. Tim's doing well up to 4th position.
Segro! Oh no, he's off. His teammate Slick has just flown past him. He was in 4th. He is now in 6th. That's quite odd. He seems to have a crash in a straight line, which is quite unusual. It's got non-runner for company, and non-runner's coming up the inside. That's an overtaking position, non-runner.
That's an optimistic attempt, I give you that, but again, you know what it's like as a driver when you're settling into your rhythm and suddenly that just is completely shaken by something, either your own mistake or someone forcing you into a mistake. It takes you a while to get back into that rhythm, and we have another pit already? Another one. There's nobody that's falling through the field. That's got to be damaged, surely. And then, actually, Riker Gordon's in the pits as well. So is he? Yeah, that's a front wing change on the Red Bull. What about Riker Gordon? Front wing change of him as well.
Gosh, this is an expensive race. That's 3 pit stops, 3 front wings. I mean, the teams are not going to be very chuffed about that. Raven and Danny are having a nice little battle at the front, but Wycombe's 4 seconds out of the lead.
Absolutely
good effort. He's gone down to standard now in his mixture of fuel. And you're saying, yeah, when you have an incident as a driver, it does very much... You just can't get the pace back. It takes you about 5 laps to regain your pace and your composure. Because when you're pushing 110% and the concentration, the adrenaline just goes completely down, and you have to work to get your pace back up. It sounds very strange, but that's what it's like in a situation with this much pressure. And we have the top, and we have 2nd to 4th in a really good, exciting battle with Slick slowly coming onto that train as well. Let's see if Raven has a go at Formula Danny with the DRS. He's got the DRS open. He's going to go on the outside. Nothing comes of it though. So
that was heavy. Very heavy defending from Danny there. He felt the need to defend that pretty early, as Max AFC has now gone under the pits as well. So again, I'm assuming that is for damage. We're going to keep an eye on this particular battle at the moment as they come through turn 4. Danny, Raven and Tim, all extremely quick drivers. We all know that. Well, to be fair, all the drivers in this league, that's why they're in the top. In the top split are all pretty damn fast. Let's not forget that. But these 3 are regulars at the top. Raven having a bit worse luck than some of the others. Slick, it's good to see the McLarens doing well. Non-runners not having a bad day either. Something that made me giggle. I know I shouldn't kind of highlight game bugs, but some of them just make me laugh. We've had the car pitting and then coming out of its own garage as opposed to coming out of its own pit spot. But what I've seen is when the front wing's been changed, they're putting the new wing on top of a wing that's already there. They take the old one off and bing! bing, it disappears. Oh, that's a regenerative wing. That's incredible.
That is fantastic. I mean, the teams in real life could only dream of that. Bizarrely, Max didn't actually get his front wing changed. He went onto the soft tyres. I don't know what strategy he's having. Although all the top guys are pitting, Max is on a 2-stop, then I would have thought.
Surely.
Let's see what Topa and Danny go onto. If they're soft compound tyres, it's definitely a 2-stop. However, they've gone to mediums, which is interesting. So all the drivers seem to be in the pits, and they're all going on to medium tyres, apart from Afro, maybe. Is he coming into Renault pit boxes a bit further down? Let's see what tyre he goes on to. He's going on to hards. Yeah, so, okay, this is very bizarre. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see different strategies being played in. We didn't really expect it. The impression I was getting was, single stop, soft to hard, but we are not seeing that at all. But then that is part of, that's part of the game, isn't it? If you lose positions you're not expecting, if your strategy has to change through damage, or you have to you think about what someone else is doing, then yeah, you may well try a completely different strategy depending on what your thought process is at the time. I have to also highlight the fact that our lead non-runner is Topar is now up to 6th place. So this is where the hard runners are now going to start to come into play.
Absolutely. Wycombs has just came into the pits. I would have thought he'll continue his lead.
Uh-oh.
His undercut round here.
Non-runner, naughty boy, 5-second stop goes, speeding in the pit lane.
Oh dear. Oh, that's close between the Force India. In fact, they are literally inside each other.
Well done.
So
Far more
Wycombs
mediums than I was expecting. Way more medium tyres than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, Wycombs has came out of his teammate Fizzy. I assume Fizzy is just going to be the sort of holding up the bus now. Now, this is so important. Now, how interesting is that? Formula Danny gained 4 seconds in the pit. That's incredible, and Danny's already dispatched of Fizzy, so Fizzy's absolutely nowhere now. This is interesting. We've got the 2 medium runners now. Formula Danny is back in
Tim!
game.
That's Tim that's just gone into the side of Fizzy. Goodness me, that's that. There may be a few words said about that when the race is done. He's got the position now. I mean, that was post corner, aren't you? Goodness me, he went flying into turn 5 and couldn't quite slow it down enough. There was impact between the two. Whether Fizzy's going to take that one to the stewards is, well, of course, we'll wait and see. Sigro's actually leading the race now, but he will have to pit pretty soon. I'm just going to hand the lead over to Topal. It's going to be interesting to see. Oh, no sooner do I say that Sigro actually comes in. So he got to lead his initial race. Why not? Yeah, fair play. Especially after you span earlier on.
Impressive.
So Topal then leads.
As a rookie, or as a first-time driver in AOR, if you can lead a race, that's good signs to come. I mean, Seagro's clearly a really good
Soft
talent.
tyres on that McLaren? Really?
So he's a 2-stop. He's like Max. He's going for the 2-stop. I don't know why he didn't stop earlier, to be honest. But he did 12 laps, 24, okay.
Oh, Marek's off again. Oh, the Haas is having a terrible day. He's falling through the field. He's ghosted. He's retired. Max has decided to call it a day. I'm assuming what's his car going to do? He really should have kind of either really pulled off to the side of the track, or he's got a puncture, front left puncture, and he would have had such a long way to crawl. He's decided he's not going to do that one. What a shame as his car comes. His car is weaving everywhere. And it's finally pulled off. Oh, what a shame for Marek.
Yeah, he's going to be gutted. Well, it'll be interesting to see if he comes into a chat and lets us into some information. But I'm a bit surprised he didn't decide to carry on. I would always decide to carry on. There's always a possibility of points, regardless on what's happened.
Kez is in?
Yes, he is indeed. Danny set the fastest lap time at 21.4. That is very respectable. That's already faster than... No, it isn't faster. A 20.1 was last year's pole time, so it'll be interesting to see if these guys can go faster than the pole time in the race. Obviously, the cars are completely different in 2017. most of the drivers have stopped, but Fizzy hasn't stopped. Arox and Topa haven't stopped, and Slick and Segro are having a battle in the McLaren, and that's going to allow Fizzy back onto the back of Slick. Now, I'm not sure if Fizzy is carrying damage, but his pace has been mediocre at best. I think you'd agree at the moment.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how long he takes those hard tyres into the race. You would think it's going hard to soft, probably pitting on lap 21 or 2.
Thereabouts, yeah. I mean, he's going to have to limp for a while. I mean, that's when... Oh, there's a dive bomb there. That's non-runner. What a move on the inside of 5. Again, Fizzy just has got no answer for anybody at the moment. So I think it's more likely. We saw him fall to the bottom of the order pretty early on. We didn't see the incident itself. So, yeah, I would think that is a wounded Force India. So let us have a look at who's where. Topar currently leads this man Arox by 6.1 seconds. Who is Hamish? Seagro's getting the fastest lap. Very nicely done, but he is on soft shot. He's on a soft shot. McLaren, look at that. That is Wycombe's getting a lovely switchback on Arox on the entrance of, well, through 2 and on the entrance of 3. And now Arox has got Formula Danny right with him, and Timp not far behind either. So a lovely 4-way battle yet again. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th has formed here.
This is crucial for Danny. He has to make this move stick. That keeps him in the game because Arox is not pitted yet. That's a good move there from Formula Danny. A little bit aggressive, but we like a bit of aggression. As commentators, Danny almost loses the back end. It's a good job he didn't. Now, Topar is actually surprisingly, he's got good pace. I'm surprised he's 7 seconds ahead, on hard compound tyres. It will take him 22 seconds to drive through the pit lane. So that means, well, he's going to end up about sort of 12th-ish at the moment if he pits, but I imagine he's going to extend the stint for quite a bit longer.
Timp is choosing his moment to strike. You just get the impression it is going to be soon with the amount of pace that Toro Rosso has had. Let's jump on board with our championship leader then. He sizes up Arox for that 4th position. Arox is going to have DRS as well. Doesn't seem to make a blind bit of difference. There he goes. Sigurd again with the fastest lap on 21.1. Easy move for Tim, and that is 4th position. He can set off back again after Danny. Look at the amount of tyres we've got. Oh, Slick is... I was just going to say we have an impressive array of tyres, soft, medium and hard, all scattered through, although the predominant tyre at the moment is hard. And that is a new front wing for the McLaren. Yet another front wing change. And that is going to put Slick pretty much at the back. And he's got the mediums as well. So could he make him... He can't make mediums last that long, surely. The hards won't last that long.
It's probably seriously marginal. The only reason we might be seeing all these medium tyres is because the weather is on dynamic. So if the track temperature is a bit different, maybe they work in a different temperature range, which the drivers will have tested. Again, you know, you were talking about earlier about changing your strategy depending on, you know, damage and whatnot. The drivers would have already run these sort of simulations, so to speak, through their head, and they've probably done 2 or 3 race stints now. So they have an idea on what's going to happen as Danny gets an awful lot of oversteer in the final chicane 14 and 15. So drivers have done the race simulations already, so they're optimizing their strategy. And well, Seagrove seems to be setting fastest lap after fastest lap at 20.5. I mean, he's in P6.
Kez has got a problem. Kez has a problem. We've had yellow flags. There he is. Oh, goodness me. We saw the yellow flags. Unfortunately, we don't get a notification as to where or why that yellow flag has come out. We saw a Slick is out. Unfortunately, we've got a DNF on him. Don't really know what's happened to him. So Kez has fallen the... Oh, my goodness me. Well, Kez is going into the pits now. Maybe he had a last-minute change of heart. That sort of thing does normally incur you a penalty, though, so he's going to have to be careful on that one. Or maybe he's going to park his car. Kez, when is he going to get some luck?
Yeah, I mean, he was looking in a fairly decent position after qualifying.
Yeah.
But not so much anymore. 51.5 seconds behind the leaders. He's going to be driving in no man's land. He's just going to have to hope for some instance. And in fairness, P10 down to P15 is relatively close. well, comparatively speaking. The top 5 are still within 10 seconds, so we should still see some good racing up at the sharp end. Nothing like what we saw in Russia. Topar seems to be keeping the pace quite well. I mean, Wycombs has only closed in on him by a second in the last few laps, so I'm impressed. I mean, currently Topar's setting the pace at about a 122 flat, whereas Wycombs is setting the pace at a mid to low 21. So I think Topar's got a good shout for some really solid points today.
Tim is staying with Formula Danny pretty damn conclusively. It doesn't look like Formula Danny is going to have an answer. But here is where we're seeing a setup difference. Noticing that Tim is not really closing in a great deal under DRS, but Danny's not getting away through the twisty bits. So it would seem that Danny's got a lower downforce setup, whilst Tim has a higher one. Now, I was under the impression that slipstream would work very, very well, but of course that is going to be counteracted to a degree by a lower downforce setup. If you're creating less drag, you won't be affected so much by it in the first place. So,
yes,
whilst the car behind you is going to benefit, of course, you are going to be less disadvantaged if you're the one with the lower downforce setup as the lead car.
Yeah, similar to how we were discussing qualifying, what Danny's done is tactically very sound, which is why you have seen Wycombs probably creating this gap, because I imagine he's running a lower downforce. And he knows with that lower downforce, if he's at the front, and he would have known if his pace is good or not before coming into this race, which is why he's able to create that gap. And like we discussed in qualifying, Tim just simply hasn't got the slipstream and the low downforce setup to be able to pass Danny down the straight. He's just getting compromised. He's quick in the corners, but not in the straight, which is going to be frustrating for him, because there's not much you can do about it.
As we settle into people mainly sticking to their strategies and getting into their rhythm, we're still seeing still some battles going on, as we can see here. Max AFC and Fizzy, this is for the last point paying position. That hard shot Force India, I would imagine that Fizzy is just dying to get rid of them, as those tyres do look pretty dead with the lack of traction that he seems to have. Tim hanging on to the back of Danny. There's not many sub 1 second battles going on. We've pretty much seen the only two that are going on. Wycombs has got a 5.5 second gap between himself and leader Topar, who is not showing any signs of going in, and that's Fizzy and Max having a battle there. There you go, and the soft shots Alba slipping his way past the Pink Panther. It did seem inevitable. I mean, a hard shot car is always going to struggle against a soft shot one, unless the soft shot tires are completely dead, which is not the case here. Fizzy still chooses not to come in, so he is sticking to his plan. It is also quite simple. If you feel like you're falling through the field, you feel you need to do something, it would be quite easy just to say, "Oh, I'll come in now." But that's not always going to be the best option if you're going to stretch your second stint too far. So, Fizzy is a wise old head. He knows what he has to do. He knows the strategy he's sticking to, and he knows what he can make work.
Absolutely, you're 100% right there. Sometimes when you're not happy with where you're placed, it's so easy to make a rational decision. You just have to stick. What your plan is, you just stick to the plan. If you stick to the plan, it'll be okay. Fizzy hasn't been involved in too many major incidents, although his pace hasn't been there. He just needs to stick to his plan, and hopefully Wycombs will put some points from India.
Did Tim just get a little bit out? I think Tim had a bit of a... Just as I looked away, I thought I saw the Toro Rosso slightly sideways. Again, the nature of online racing does exaggerate how a sideways manoeuvre, how a snap of oversteer looks from a spectator's standpoint. It may not have been anywhere near that bad for the driver, but from our standpoint, because of pings and lags and what have you, it can sometimes appear exaggerated. It looks much worse to us. Let's have a look at where everybody is. There is Topar, he's just coming around turn 3. He has a 5.2 second gap between himself and Wycombs. So Wycombs is ever so slowly reeling in that Mercedes, but Wycombs knows he doesn't have to push too hard. He may have guessed that Topar has still got to come in, but he also knows that he's got nearly 2 seconds behind him. We've lost Afro. We have lost another from this race. Oh, his car was actually still running. So he's actually had a connection problem of some description, I think, as opposed to an accident. We've just seen his car pull off. Formula Danny, 1.8 behind Wycombs. Timp, within DRS range, but not able to do much with it, it seems, at the moment. Sigro is right there in the McLaren, but surely his tyres can't hang on that much longer. We've seen fastest lap after fastest lap out of that McLaren, but I think he's just been a little bit too eager to prove himself. Maybe to kind of prove his worth in this. Oh, he hit that chicane very hard. That was 14. He clouted. And Afro leaves the session, as I can understand. I wonder if Seagrave's just burned the best out of those tyres. He doesn't seem to have made much of an inroad on Timp. Arox 3.2 down from the McLaren. Raven trying his best to recover. He's on the hard tyres. 3.5 down from Arox. Non-runner in the Renault. 2.8 separates him in the Williams. Failer. Barely seen him. He just comes past the camera. He's in the Sauber. 1.4 down from non-runner. Max, the last of the point-playing position at the moment. He's one of the only 2 cars still on soft tyres. He's in the Sauber, just coming around to turn 3. There is Fizzy. He still has not gotten rid of those hard tyres, and I bet he is wanting desperately to get rid of them. RBK, oh dear, what may have been for the Red Bull. And there's the other one. So no points for Red Bull at the moment.
King-Kodiak.
Hello.
I have to stop you. I've just seen raindrops on the screen of Danny. Someone in chat has just talked about it, and I am seeing rain. This is why we've been seeing these strategies. We obviously don't get a weather forecast. How exciting is this? This is going to really spice up the action. For your information, very quickly, now this brings Topar straight into the running now. He's setting parallel lap times with wide comms on those tyres. You were also talking about Segro not setting lap times which we were for electric. The reason being is because he is just ever so slightly slower than he was before. He's still the fastest man on track, although his lap times are just a little bit slower.
Sigro may have pulled a brilliant one there because he's been burning those soft tyres to death. Now, if this rain gets worse, there are, of course, everyone's going to start getting slippery. Oh, we've got a problem in Sector 2. Again, we've got no further information as to what that is or who, so we can't switch to that. I'm just basically watching for anyone. Oh, there we go. That's a Williams. Is that Kez? I assume it is indeed. Kez is out. Kez has chosen to call it a day. Oh, and his AI has just put the car right in the middle of the track. Oh, what a shame. What a disaster for the Williams team. But now that the rain is coming... Oh, Segro! Just as we were talking about, he may pull the Masters strike. He's now going to a 3-second penalty.
Oh no, that's so gutting for him. He got that in turns 7 and 8. He obviously cut the inside of 8. The rain is coming now. The trick with changing onto the right tyres is you're looking through the tyre temperatures, which your drivers do have on their screens. So when the tyres get below a certain temperature, that is when you switch. Some will gamble massively and come in early. Some will leave it until possibly a little bit later, but it won't be quite optimal. It'll be almost there. So if I was Segro, I'd possibly be thinking of coming in earlier rather than later, because he's got a good gap. He knows he's going to have to pit at some point, I would have thought, for intermediates. And he's got a little bit of a gap behind, and who knows, he might be able to gain a couple of seconds on the drivers ahead, and that will put him up in podium position.
I'll tell you who's pulled the masterstroke then. It's Topar from starting right at the very back. He, of course, hasn't pitted. He's still on the same tyres he started with, and it's now looking like it is going to start raining. Wycombs is falling back. That gap is just rising. So Wycombs now beginning to struggle with the ever slippery conditions. You can see the rain's not too heavy, but it is clearly making a difference. You can see that he's just... I mean, that corner there, turn 9, is way heavier than that under normal conditions. And Wycombs has got... Oh, big lockup for him as he comes into 10. He's got no confidence, and again, the tail's starting to wiggle as well. He's got no confidence that that car will stick. And let's see if Topar is going to come in. We're starting to see spray come off the back of the tyres. So I wonder if now it's going to be... No. I think that's a risk. That's really worn tyres, and we're starting to see spray. Wycombs isn't coming in. So, we're getting to a crossover point.
Yeah, who's going to risk it? Who's going to be the first person into the pit lane? They're all drifting in the last corner.
Yeah.
It looks like they're coming in but into the pits, but they're not. It's just the oversteer's catastrophic. If someone's coming in, it's going to be someone near the back of the field. Someone like RBK, Fizzy, they've got nothing to lose. Our first person to the pits
It's Max.
is Max. So he's coming in, obviously putting on the intermediates,
that
locking up.
was almost
that was really close.
Yeah, that was. You watch him. We've got a great battle here. It's Timp and Danny. Well, that battle's been looming all race long, but that's. And Rico Gordon's in. So yeah, I bet exactly as you're saying, is the one's at the back, and Max has gone on to Inters. We have our first runner onto the intermediate tyres. Oh, as Danny gets a bit out of shape, Tim's all over the back of him. Now having a look into 9, can't do it there. He hasn't got the traction to do it. But that that Toro Rosso is right with the house. Danny having to defend on the inside of turn 10. That's forcing Tip around the outside. He's going to run him out road. No. Oh, they came together. They managed to avoid a major incident. You can see Sigro's right with them as well. Surely now they are going to come in. But the top runners are not. Just as I say that, actually, Topar is now in. Now is going to be the time they're going to be coming in. And he's gone to a 5-second stop go. That's catastrophic. He's got to serve it now. That is going to ruin his race. Wycombs has not come in. Wycombs, were you madman? Danny is in. Topar has ruined his race. Did Tim come in as well? No, Tim's not. Tim's chosen not to. That is a huge gamble. But okay. I think that's going to bite him. I personally think he's going to leave that a bit too long. But Topar is going to be furious at that.
He is, however, Max is 5 seconds slow in the middle sector. I'm not sure if it's time yet. Max is 5 seconds. That 5 whole seconds slow in the middle sector than Wycombs. It's going to be interesting. Formula Danny may have made a big mistake here. Let's see what happens with the leader at Wycombs. That 5-second penalty for Topar is obviously really affected him.
I didn't look to see whether he actually served it on that particular. Surely, if he earned it, he would have had to have served it straight away.
Yeah, I'm going to have a quick look, see if
he has got non-run all over him, and he can't shake him. So you might have been right. They may have jumped too soon. Big snap of oversteer on the exit of 9. Is the runner going to nail him under DRS? Can he slow it down? Let's have a look. Oh, can he slow it down? Non-runner, where have you gone? No, he couldn't slow it down. I thought he was going to go too deep. We were at the crossover, but at what point do you jump? Wycombs, where is he? He's not pitted. Wycombs has chosen not to go. Timp has chosen not to go. Sigurd, however, has. He's had enough. And Aros.
And Raven.
Oh, Raven's at the 5th. Oh, what a recovery drive for him. Sigurd's on soft tyres. They would have been dead. There is no way he could have carried on much further. But
Wycombs is span on the first corner. He's crashed into the wall.
No!
His wing is intact. That means Timp is your new race leader. What's Wycombs doing?
Oh no!
He's got a catastrophic issue.
He's out. He's sat there. He is gonna be livid with what he's done.
He's found reverse. He's found first. He's
retired. He is retired.
He's gutted.
Wycombs, what have you done? I'm going the wrong through the field. I'm trying to find. Timp still hasn't pitted. That is a huge risk. But I mean, if he's confident he can make it stick, but Topar's already back into second and 10 seconds. Let's just keep an eye on that interval. 11 seconds, just shy off. More yellow flags. There's going to be people going off at turn 1. I would imagine that Formula Danny's in trouble. Formula Danny is falling through the field. Where is he? Yeah, there he is. He was recovered again before I had a chance to get to him. Surely, well, it depends how heavy this rain is, because if the rain stops, Timp has pulled the masterstroke of the race. But I mean, I'm stunned he hasn't come in yet.
He's still faster. He's still faster than the intermediate runners in the second to last sector. He comes into the pits now. Is Failer coming in the sound? But well, his pace looks awful at the moment. So Timp is in, and he's going to come out in P. Oh, he's going to be battling Segro actually. So this is going to be interesting.
Wycombs had a screen freeze. Oh, not again, Wycombs. We know he had a lot of trouble with that last race out. Unbelievable. Can't believe you were denied for that kind of reason.
Gutted for Wycombes.
Topar takes the lead then. Timp is just coming out on track with Sigro. That's going to be close. Let's just see how they are. No, Timp's going to hang on to that second position, but he's a long way down from Topar. As Failer now comes in, surely I think he's just come back. He was the last to change onto those inters. So Timp has got a long way to go. We don't have many racing laps left.
No, we don't. We're on 27 or 33. And Topar, you got to admit, although it's gutting for Wycombes, he's somewhat of a genius. Last to first, well, hats off. That's pretty mega. He hasn't served his 5-second time penalty in the pit, so that still applies.
Well, Tim's then going to have to... Well, that'll be converted to a time penalty in, so Tim is going to have to really fly, but they're on the same size and the same conditions. Tim's a couple of laps younger, is going to be fairly academic, and Fizzy battling RBK for that, or trying to hang on to that 9th position. So, yeah, that's not looking good for the Pink Panthers at the moment, unfortunately. Topar has just pulled a master stroke. I mean, you don't know exactly, you don't know on what lap, you don't know on what time the rain is going to arrive. You know it's going to be there. Oh, RBK. Oh, well, that nailed the hammer. That put a nail in the coffin of that particular battle between him and Fizzy then. He's got past him anyway, but a 3-second penalty for RBK. But you don't know exactly when it's going to arrive, so he would have had to have gambled on when he would have normally pitted off of those hard tyres and just strung it on and on and on and on to hang on for the rain to come, because the rain can sometimes only appear at the last lap or two, and his hard tyres would have been so ruined by that stage. So he has played a belter of a strategy call.
Absolutely. As a driver, when you're in the heat of the moment, it's so difficult to make the right call, and I've done it countless amounts of times where you come in and it's just not, and you think it's ready and it just isn't. And it's the same. It'll be the same, vice versa, whether it's wet to dry or dry to wet. Topar's made somewhat of a genius master stroke. Fizzy's done pretty well, considering he was in P17 at one point, and he might be promoted to P9 unless RBK gets 3 seconds ahead of him. Nolan and Failer, they're having a really good little battle in 7th and 8th. So
as our Formula Danny and Raven, actually, they are having a pretty decent battle. Now, Seager, was it a 3-second or a 5-second penalty, Hamish? I've actually forgotten which penalty he earned.
I will take a look.
If it's only a 3-second penalty, he's still actually in 3rd. So, pretty damn good showing for your maiden race in the top split to then stick it on the podium. Fair play to you.
Yeah, so non-runner has a stop go.
That's Danny getting out of shape. So what a move by Raven, diving on the inside at 13. Oh, there is very little room for error there. Haas trying to do a switchback, not really much of a chance to do it there. Danny getting very out of shape and Raven capitalising on it. And Danny's got himself another 3-second penalty. I mean, all that does is really back him off from... Yeah, he won't lose a position to Failure at that point. That just backs him off from Raven. Raven now doesn't have to fight so hard. Whether he knows that or not is another matter. Sigro is still pretty close to Tim as whether he can stay in DRS range at the important times, which I don't think he is. But he may just choose to settle into a rhythm as we have less than 5 laps to go.
Yeah, so Sigro does have a 3-second penalty. So does obviously Formula Danny. Timp, he doesn't. RBK has a 3-second penalty, and and Topar has a stop go, which he hasn't served. That's 5 seconds of penalty.
Yeah, so that just gets converted to a straight time penalty, but that doesn't lose him the lead. So what a master stroke by the Mercedes driver. As we see Danny doesn't seem to have an answer for Raven either. So Danny, we've seen how quick he is in the drive, doesn't seem to have an answer in the wet, as Raven, pretty good recovery drive for him to get back into 5th position from his earlier misadventures, but he's got another 4.2 along the road to this man Arox. That seems really unlikely with 4 laps to go, unless of course Arox makes a mistake.
Sorry to interrupt. Fizzy's just made a mistake into turn 9, and that means Max has now got that points paying position. Max had the pace on Fizzy anyway. Let's see if he can get a bit close to RBK, and he'll be promoted up to P9.
That's about just over 3 seconds there, so he's going to have to close that gap down to try and get that promotion again. Let's have a look at Sigro. He is still hanging on to the back of Timp, which is no mean feat in itself, let's be quite frank. Arox pretty much on his own in 4th. 4.6 in front, 4.4 behind. Raven, we saw, he's left Danny for dead by 2 seconds. He hasn't closed in to the same degree on Arox. So Danny is just not got the setup for wet weather. And you want more downforce in a wet weather condition. So it would indicate that he was running, as we kind of thought earlier, when we saw Timp and Danny battling, and Timp couldn't overcome Danny in the DRS. Danny was running the lower grip setup. He was obviously gambling on there being very little rain, and that has not paid off for him. He's going to be caught by failure, not likely. 7.2 down the road to failure then in the Sauber with only what's going to be 3 laps remaining.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, we didn't talk about a wet race, so that also obviously plays hugely into the strategy. It's so difficult to drive a car with low downforce in the rain because you can't actually get the top end anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you're running low downforce. It makes you virtually not. It doesn't really make any difference if you're faster or not running low downforce down the straight. So running a very slow downforce setup, which some of these drivers are, and I imagine Topar is in the lead, that's really effective. And it seems to be the gap is just 11 seconds, and Timp has no answer for it. Gordon has a 3-second time penalty. So does Segro. Segro's just earned himself another penalty. He's going to lose the podium as a result of that. Oh.
What a shame. Yeah, I mean, so easy to do, so easy to run wide in the wet. Let's not take it away how well he's done, but he just needs to keep that kind of... I think he's probably maybe got a little bit of nerves, a little bit of excitement being promoted, mid-season. Much it's in the middle, but you know what I mean, after the season started. Up to the top tier. You did very, very well in F2. So, the fact it's got world greatest gamer on the side of that McLaren, but that made me chuckle. So yeah, he just needs to kind of reel that in a little bit, because otherwise he would have had that podium. I think he's now lost that due to penalties, so that's going to promote Arox into that 3rd place. But Raven, he couldn't close in on Arox any further, but Danny is just nowhere to be found on the back of that. 2 racing laps to go for this man Topar, who, we've said it before, he's played an absolute brilliant masterstroke.
Yeah, Segro Arox does have a couple of warnings, so if he gets another one, there's a chance that he is actually going to get a penalty. At the moment, Segro's really, I'm impressed. He's really going for it. In fact, he's going for it so much. He's going to be challenging Timp. He just needs to make sure, keep it clean. All you need to do is keep it clean. Don't get yourself unnecessary penalties of 3 seconds. So, in fairness, he's got 6 seconds of penalties. This could be pretty close. I mean, that gap only needs to go to 18 seconds, and there's a pretty realistic chance that Segro's on the podium, and what a result that would be.
Yeah, because I think Arox has made a mistake somewhere, because he's lost a lot of time very quickly. So, as I've just jumped to the wrong Mercedes. So, it could be, again, Arox just struggling setup-wise. So if he loses another second's worth of time, it could be that Segro does hang on to that podium. That would be an incredible feat indeed.
Absolutely. He needs to get past Timp, though, fairly soon, because I think Timp's actually holding him up. Topa's, well, I mean, don't want to put the commentator's curse, but I think he's pretty much won the race. Arox is losing time, and Sergo is racing time, gaining time. That is the sort of exciting battle at the moment between 3rd and 4th, although it's a time battle, not a racing battle.
Indeed, as Topar begins his final lap here in a very rain-sodden Spain. Timp is still holding off that McLaren at the moment. He is feeling the need to move slightly off that racing line to try and maybe kind of say, no, I will defend this line, because the McLaren didn't get himself into an overtaking position on the way down to turn 1. Arox is there, still 5.2 down, so he is close enough to gain that podium position. Raven is in the middle of pretty much no man's land there, 5 seconds forwards and backwards. Danny is just falling off the back of that Williams, unfortunately. Failure, barely seen him, as he is actually having a battle with non-runner. He's defended the inside of turn 1 pretty well. Goodness me, that's very close between the Sauber and the Renault. RBK, we just see the background. Oh my goodness me! As Phelan runs a little bit wide at 3, that gave an opportunity for non-runner, and Kez has left the session. I would imagine he is absolutely gutted. And, well, can you really blame him? It does look like that the Sauber is going to hang on to that position. Ooh, no sooner do I say that, the runner gets very sideways. Where is Topar? He is actually coming around 12. He's going to keep an eye on this battle because it is getting very, very juicy between the two. Although Segro is getting very interested in Timp as well. In the dying seconds of this race, then, here is your race winner here at Catalonia by an incredible strategy call. It is the Mercedes of Topar. 12.9 seconds. Oh, well, no, a little bit more than that in the end. And Fizzy has got himself a 3-second penalty. Oh, just adding insult to injury. A big old celebration and into the wall, but he crossed the line. Timp in second. Segro hangs on to third. With Arox hasn't crossed the line. There we go. Arox does indeed get promoted. Oh, 0.3 of a second. That's all it was. That's all it was at the end.
Alex ran out of fuel on the straight.
Oh my goodness me! Segro is going to be gutted at that. Arrow's running out of fuel, and by just shy of 0.4 of a second.
Well, that was so close between non-runner and the Red Bull. It looks like RBK is getting P9. Max is probably going to get P10 unless he's don't celebrate, because it'll be interesting to see what the gap between it is a couple of seconds at the end. I was going to say, because RBK had a penalty.
Looks like everyone's just throwing their car into the wall.
They're obviously fed up of this race. Only 13 drivers finished out of the 19 starters, and of course 6 DNFs. So yes, Riker Gordon, he's struggled this season. He's going to be hoping and want a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, you can put all the practice in you like, but sometimes just luck does not go your way. You make your own luck in this world, that is absolutely true, but some other people can make it for you. He actually technically retired because he actually smashed his car against the wall and lost the wheel. There we go. He's planted his wheel on top of his car. Oh, what a finish to a pretty thrilling race, but well. Let's as we wait for... Oh, we actually have a different face on a driver. That's novel. Usually everyone goes for the Adrian Sotilla-like.
Yes, I know, but last week's podium was all the same.
All the same face, yeah.
This week we've got a bit of variation, which is nice to see. Good job by Topa. What a great strategy tool. He, made a few mistakes last time out. He's obviously his racing seemed fairly clean and very ethical today. So fantastic job from him. I think he's my driver of the day.
Yeah, what a stunning effort. Now, Topa is not in Discord, so we can't grab a hold of him. Timp is. I think we're going to have a word with Timp. What do you reckon?
Yes, I will go and see which drivers are up for interviews.
Yeah, so we will grab a few drivers and get hold of them. Wow, driver of the day, people. Make your nominations. Let's see who comes up. But what a contrast we had from last week. Not just necessarily saying that this week was particularly much worse, but just the way that the race came together, and particularly with the wet weather, mixing it up entirely, made a very different set of circumstances. And we have been joined by... I've been moved.
Hello.
I've been moved. I'll move back to my combox.
Oh, but it was a little bit strange. I'm not sure what the scenario is there. We've got Timp and Topar by the looks of it.
Topar has joined us.
Move. You were supposed to stay and say hi.
Yeah, we're still broadcasting, Dan. We're going to be doing our driver interviews. Yeah, blooming news.
Okay, but that's pretty exciting. Anyway, we've got 3 drivers.
It wasn't me. It wasn't my fault.
They're all good to be moved in. We have Timp, we have Topar, and we have Wycombe.
Oh, first of all, Topar, what a strategy call. I mean, did you have any kind of idea how that was going to play out before you decided on running the hards that long, or did you just think, I'll run with it and see what happens?
I knew there was going to be some rain in the end of the race, and when I asked my engineer that it was coming in about 15 minutes, I just decided to stay out, and it worked. It was a really, really strange race.
Oh, what a day. So, obviously you weren't able to take part in qualifying. Did you just decide, well, run the hards to start with because of the sort of qualifying position that you were forced into? Or did you sort of think about doing the hards for a long stint before the race began?
Oh, I didn't really think about anything before the race began, but just took the hard tires and was supposed to take the softs in the end and go really fast, but in the end I didn't even have to.
Oh, great stuff. Any questions for you, Hamish?
No, I think you covered it. I mean, Topar, what a great strategy call. So, Wycombe's onto you. You must be gutted. You sort of had the race in the bag, and obviously your PC let you down. I mean, how did you feel? Did your screen eventually unfreeze, or did you just have to call it a day?
It eventually unfreezed, but then that was already stopped on the track, and it was 5 seconds from getting disqualified. Quickly retired before getting disqualified. So because I lost 15 seconds or something. So
I mean, we saw you sat still, and I just kind of had in my mind that maybe you just made a small error and thrown it into the wall and just stared at your monitor in pure disgust, as pure rage and anger, and then deciding to retire. So PC problems letting you down again. I mean, you were so strong. Did you feel like the win was there for you?
No, I don't think so. Since once I saw Topar 6 seconds ahead of me after a pit stop, I knew he should have this in the back because the hard tires are getting quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. I couldn't even catch him even in the slightest on the mediums, even though I was quicker than the cars behind. So that was pretty much impossible. But still, I mean, should have been back on the podium, I guess. That would have been something, at least.
Wycombs, it has to give you confidence going into the next round in Monaco. You were extremely quick. You had the pace probably for the win, so it's there. It's just a case of sort of getting the weekend together. Or, well, hoping that your equipment doesn't let you down.
I hope so. Well, I hope I can fix it somehow. I'm struggling with this thing since 2016, and it's only this game. It's only, in bigger lobbies, so not really sure what's causing it. And I will still keep trying to fix it and see how it goes.
So then that leads us on to Timp. How are you feeling after that one?
Pretty well, since that qualifying was so bad, so I'm pretty happy about P2.
Did you sort of think, did you feel that the win was in your grasp, or could you see how Topar's strategy was going? Obviously, we didn't know how the weather was going to go in the combox, so we had no idea that there was rain coming. We just saw Topar being a lunatic, still hanging onto those hard tyres forever, and suddenly it all came good. Did you sort of think? Did you think he's hung on to them for too long, or did you think, oh, you clever monkey, you've outdone me on this one? How was it for you on looking at that?
Well, I had my better version of Jeff, aka Kalon, because he turned lap 1, and he just stayed and was talking about everyone strategy and stuff like that. So thank you for him about And then he told that I have only 5-second penalty, so I didn't even push, and I knew that Secro have 6-second penalty, so I didn't push, so good job for Topar.
Good stuff. Anything from you, Hamish?
No, I don't think so. I think covered it all. Covered it all. I mean, Tim, you had a fantastic drive after qualifying, and obviously so did you, Topar, after sitting out qualifying and starting last. I mean, that really was quite a sensational last to first driver. I think, as many of us agree, Topar, you're probably a lot of people's driver of the day today.
Yeah, I guess. Sounds nice.
Modest to the end. I think we'll wrap that one up. So thank you very much to our drivers putting on a great show. Thank you to our spectators that have been with us throughout the broadcast. Thank you to you, Mr. Hamish, for being with me as always. A great pleasure, sir.
My pleasure.
And a special shout out to not only our podium 3, but also our new runner, our newbies into the league. So Segro, nobody. Nobody didn't have quite as much luck, but Segro, great showing. Such a shame you missed out on the podium by just that 0.4 of a second. But oh, what might have been. Great stuff. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us, and we will see you right here for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.